Zoom or anything.
We are.
Oh, we are. Oh, we either Zoom. Okay, good evening, I'm Bernard James here at the Brookline Select Board, and this is the meeting, special meeting, Select Board for Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. Any announcements or updates from the Select Board? Anyone have anything to say about last night's town meeting?
It was very nicely moderated.
Yeah.
I would like Ben and Pop on the town clerk check the records and see if there were more unanimous votes about that topic than we've ever had. It seemed that way to me. It was a night of unanimous votes near you. I do want to acknowledge the great job. Yeah, it does. Yeah, he was aware, efficient. I probably would have been more nervous than he was when I first met. Great job. I'm sure it'll be another good night as well.
Well, I'm sure he is more nervous here.
I was going to say that.
Despite that. Any other comments? Public comment? Maybe the script. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for public comment. This is an opportunity for us to hear your perspective on issues in Brookline that matter to you. Each person speaking tonight is limited to 3 minutes. If you don't need to use the entire time, you may if you like. Once 15 minutes is met, there is an opportunity at the conclusion of the Select Board's business for additional comments. Members of the public sometimes raise questions during public comment. We may be able to provide a quick answer to a question, but are more likely to work with staff to get a thorough answer and respond over email. We'll let you know when your 30 seconds remaining and when your time is up. Please conclude your remarks at this time. Right now, we have 3 people online and nobody is raised the hand raised to speak.
Where's someone in the audience? Please introduce yourself.
I'm Jeffrey Ellis. I went through the Brookline schools. Actually, David Brumman was same year. And I have a daughter who was at Runkle and is now at Driscoll in 1st grade. And I saw the benefit. Well, maybe I just like, because I came here to get information on the local receipts, which I think I already have, and it sounds like 34 million has come in through April, and last year it was 38 million. So we're trailing the 43 million that ended up last year, but we're trailing it by 4 million. So I got that information, but I just wanted to comment. I mean, I think world language, we've invested so much. And I know we want to be very conservative on our numbers and never be caught with a surprise. But we've invested, including this year, in training for teachers, as Allison Kerr mentioned in the school committee meeting. And that training they haven't gotten to use for a full year. If we value world language, and we want to attract the best teachers, as Brookline historically did, we want, it's hard, and in 2020 we had to let go teachers. It's going to be hard to convince teachers that this is a great place to come teach world language if we're like letting them go. And it would be sad if we let them go and it turns out that we actually we've only forecasted for this year 30 million of receipts was a forecast. There's already 34 million and there's 2 more months to go. So that was the 3rd conservative year that we've already finishing. The 2022, the surplus 12.6, 2023, 13.9. We're already at 34 and we forecasted 30. So the surplus is more than 4 million and there's 2 months. And I just learned the vehicle receipts come in heavy Jan to June. So it just would be very sad to end this program. And at the end of the day, we thought we're doing it for being fiscally conservative, but we have actually quite a surplus, and we do want to be conservative, and I know we don't want to budget this way. But what if we said, let's look at the numbers. We already had a 2 million surplus was in the budget. Like the 1 million for language would only take it to 1 million. It's not really, it's still adding to surplus. It's not actually, I mean, the surplus is still growing, and there's now been 3 years of being conservatism, and it's intentional. We don't want to have cutbacks mid-year and then throw a monkey wrench. So I think there's the we're projecting 33 million for 2025. We already have 34 million this year for a partial year with 2 months to go. The previous year was 43. The previous year was 37. So that 33 million, that's why we're, if we've made a slightly, it's been conservative for 3 years, and it looks like it's already less than what we had in 10 months. And if there was is there anything so unique about 2024 that we have, is there anything that's actually down? And to what extent that we actually need that much conservatism versus, and the last thing is, there could be more overrides just to fund a 9-year transition for 6 and 8, which the world language teachers at 6 and 8 and VHS are very much opposed to. And why are we going to do overrides to transition the program, or why not save the program, especially as we're very conservative? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other?
We don't see anybody online. There are 4 attendees right now.
Thank you. You want to write up your comments and like forward. Maybe too late, but you know, maybe more information. But
Select board's email address.
I did, well, I sent one question already, and I could follow up, but given the town meeting, if anyone could have any comments, because it's quite a possibility that there is, lo and behold, more, and I know we need some surplus.
right, okay.
Yeah, but if anyone would want to make any comments that I could.
If anyone does, okay. Comment?
So it is a little bit more complicated than just adding it back into 1 million. So one of the reasons why the program was cut is because there is a program review that showed that many elements of it were not as effective as the district would like. And teachers were very upset about how spread thin they were in terms of the assignments in schools. Some schools had more world language offerings than others, so there's a lot of inequity between schools, so it's becoming difficult to even hire the current model. And the feedback that had been received by school committee at that time was that to really run the program well, you would need to devote more time to it and also more resources. So even if this 1 million were to be expended for saving the program, what would be saved is something that was already teetering on the edge and had a lot of difficulties. And what the teachers had indicated is that there really would need to be significantly more investment in order to make it a thriving program.
Thank you, David. So, you know, we're not going to have back and forth. We've heard the comments and taken consideration. Here are other comments that
We can certainly talk more afterwards. I'll leave that to you. The public comments not supposed to be addressed.
So, next, well, ironically, warrant article 10, the budget.
No, there's no updates. This is placed on your agenda, it's placeholder. If there were updates, but
Nothing to respect to warrant article 10.
sorry, so we resolved that there was some differences at some point with the advisory committee. Those remain. There are still 2 months for so using the advisory committee, some money out of the school maintenance. Yeah, it said that was a reduction in involvement. So the select board's motion reverses that. Or adds back. Yeah, but there was also some difference in terms of the advisory committee wanted to have approval.
Yes,
Right.
yes, that too, the select board was maintained, the advisory did not be informed, but did not have each of the vote.
Indeed. Okay, so we'll hash that out on the floor. And the moderator has shared that this is a special appropriation 69. Yeah. 69A is the mini CIP for the school. That has the advisory committee adding their approval for any changes. Right. And then 69B is the Baldwin, where they produce the Baldwin budget by 95. And that's really keep the schools from doing anything. Yeah. And the moderator will be essentially dividing the question. Okay. And we'll be voting on those two items separately.
Okay. Any follow-up? And select board action from, town meeting? Number one. So the,
You need to vote to transmit that to the great general. Oh, sorry.
okay, well, I guess that's the follow-up. Question of transmitting the, following warrant articles, home rule petition to the Brookline State Legislative Delegation of the General Court, warrant article 1, home rule petition. Here's playground installation, select surface, field, and well. Select board on behalf of the school committee.
I have one question, next question about that. Are we including the vote? Because if I remember, it was an overwhelming vote in support. Is that correct?
Does that go into the,
Is that going into the letter?
I think- Yes, yes, please.
any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, Joe.
Is there a document that we have to sign?
I think if you vote this through, I can attest it. So there's gonna be. You know, we're gonna transmit this in. Sign it.
You're not asking to sign it.
I just want to be sure that it's prior sign. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I just want to say one more thing. I think it was a very important vote and an outcome for an action that's going to, all the reasons stated last night, to help move the Pearson school forward, ensure that it's supposed to, we can get. Very, very pleased and proud of how we. I think it was a major step forward for comments having to incorporate.
Almost as interesting as when the Al Leo project.
How when we have the courage to do that?
Okay, I move approval of transmitting following warrant article at home rule petition to the Brookline State Legislative Delegation of the General Court. Warrant article number 1, home rule petition, Pierce Playground, installation of subsurface geothermal well. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Dennis Squire.
Aye.
Roger Sanders.
Aye.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
David Thorman. Aye. Chair votes aye. And that is the end of our agenda. Unless there's anything else, or you want to use this opportunity to say more?
Oh, sure, yes.
And not,
Yeah.
not all night.
Okay. Sure.
No,
Okay, so. I mean, would it make a difference? I know well, I would like to do in responding to David's comments.
So maybe I could ask us.
Sure.
Ask a question to be clarified. So what we're talking about here is the FY 25 budget that's coming out. And it's true that you can track receipts through the FY 24 budget with different points. But you have to look at
Sure.
where those came from. So, for example, a couple of years ago, we had a major substantial building permit. And that's a one-time. And it's really, you have to be very cautious about assuming that the same kind of thing is going to occur year after here. There is fluctuation.
No, yeah, I talked. I mean, I would point out, like, the Thomas Sauer, the Pearl report, they didn't suggest cutting the language program. That was not a recommendation. Anywhere in the report, and David, correct me if I'm wrong, but, and the teachers, well, and the recommendations were have the best teachers train the other teachers. I know, like, that used to be, I mean, so that it's agreed. I just think it would be such a loss to lose all of these teachers. And how are we ever gonna get them back? And if there's room in the budget, and there's an override in 2023 where people were funding language, 2015 overwhelmingly support, passed in 2009, I think the public is really behind it, and if, I don't know if Paul, if you would have any comments on.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I declare the meeting over. Okay. Yeah,